Looking into the sun is really painful to the eyes. But you know what's even more painful? Seeing cheerleaders posing and pouting in front of jocks. I just wanted to study in the gym, but I forgot there was an audition for the muse of this year's football game. Suddenly, I sneezed and everyone turned to me. Dude, there she is. Even the way she sneezed is so pretty. I think we found our muse. She's gonna be perfect for the team. The biggest brat in the universe, Candace, had a violent reaction. Excuse me, are you guys blind? This peasant is not even a cheerleader, and look at her messy hair and cheap clothes. But the point is, she's still the prettiest. Candace looked at me with murder in her eyes, and it was my signal to run. But she ran after me and pulled me by my shirt. You're just our stupid maid's daughter. Always remember that. I reached for her arm and twisted it away. At least I'm prettier than you. Always remember that. And I flipped my hair and ran again. I knew I was gonna pay for saying that, but it was worth it. Hi, my name is Stellar, and I just wanted to have a peaceful life with my mom. But it's impossible if you live with billionaire brats from hell. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. Mom had been working for a super rich lady, Mrs. Branson, since I was a kid. In return, she gave us a cottage next to the mansion and paid for my tuition at a private school. She might sound like a generous lady, but she actually did all of this because no maid could put up with her besides Mom. She was mean and rude, and I hated her to the core. She had twins my age, Candace and Julian, and they were as bad as their mom. Thankfully, Julian had left for boarding school 7 years ago, but I still had Candace to deal with. Candace had always been jealous of me because I was prettier and smarter than her. And because of what happened in the gym yesterday, she forced me to do all her homework. One night while I was studying, I heard loud voices outside. I wanted to check what it was and saw Mrs. Branson yelling at Mom in front of her guests. How dare you serve us with silver utensils? Where are the gold ones? Did you steal them? She made us feel poor for a second, Mom. It was traumatizing. As Mom was apologizing nonstop, Mrs. Branson just kept on humiliating her in front of everyone. I so wanted to punch her fake lips, but Mom gave me a look to behave. I didn't do anything then, but the next day I sneaked into the kitchen and sprinkled the hottest chili powder in the world onto their soup. A few minutes later, I was grinning from the balcony as both witches ran around the mansion with burning tongues. I felt so pleased with myself, but Mom was furious. Mrs. Branson fired the cook because of what you did. I have no idea what you're talking about, Mom. I know it was you. How many times do I have to tell you to stay out of trouble? But those two are just horrible. We have to put up with them at least until you graduate high school. There are just a few months left. Please. Ugh, fine. But a few days later, Mom fell down the stairs and broke her ankle. She couldn't walk for some months, so I had to take her place, which only made Candace happier because she could boss me around even more. She made me do the stupidest tasks, like painting hearts on her nails and braiding her boyfriend's long hair. And when Mrs. Branson informed me that Julian was coming back, I just knew that things were about to get worse. After cleaning up his room, I felt so exhausted that I sat down on his couch to rest for 5 minutes, and I dozed off. When I woke up, I saw a guy with the most beautiful green eyes staring right at me. Was I dreaming? He looked so majestic. Hello, Buttface. Did you miss me? Buttface? That's what Julian used to call me. Oh, you're here. Sorry, I got so tired that I fell asleep. Seems like you were having a very interesting dream. Was it about me? Yeah, I dreamed that I was punching your liver. Still feisty as ever. Why are you in a maid's uniform? Where's your mom? She had a small accident, so I'm replacing her, temporarily. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot to do. Later that night, as I was serving their dinner, I noticed Julian's eyes following me everywhere. He even purposefully brushed his hand against mine. What was up with this jerk? And why had he turned out so fine? One night, I saw Mrs. Branson throwing out one of her branded bags in the trash just because it had a small stain. After making sure that everyone was asleep, I sneaked out and took it. But when I told Mom, she got so scared. What if she finds out that you stole it? You know that woman. She'll make our lives hell. Technically, I didn't steal it because she'd already thrown it out. If the bag was alive, I'm sure it would prefer to be in the hands of a cute owner instead of rotting in the garbage, right? I will never win against you. Exactly. The next day at school, we were in the middle of an exam when suddenly the girls started squealing. We all turned to the door to see Julian peeking with a smile. What was he doing here? Suddenly, he waved at me and blew me a kiss. My tummy did a weird flip. As soon as he left, Candace elbowed me in the ribs. My brother's just fooling around, so stop dreaming. You're not his type. Oh, trust me, he's not my type either. It didn't matter even if he was. I had to stay away from him because being involved with Julian meant trouble. One day, while he was working out in the living room, he suddenly called for me. Do you think my muscles look hard enough, or should I work out more? To be honest, they were a work of art, but there was no way I'd tell him that. I think you should get a life, sir. He just grinned at me and laid down on his back. He then asked me to hold down his feet and started doing crunches. I held my breath when I realized how close our lips were when he sat up. He was definitely doing this on purpose. Excuse me, but are you flirting with me? Am I that obvious? If you think you can add me to your list of girlfriends, you're mistaken. You're really amusing. Too bad you lost those chubby cheeks. I can't call you buttface anymore. Should I call you sweetface now? Wow, that is so cringy. What school did you go to? Wattpad High? He just chuckled and reached for my cheeks to pinch them. You're so cute, especially when you blush. It's a blush of hatred. Anyway, I still have a mountain of laundry to do, so bye. I left before things could get weirder. I did my best to avoid him at school, but he was always doing silly things to grab my attention. And one of my friends suddenly started pestering me. Hey girl, I saw that hottie from the other class flirting with you yesterday. Are you guys like a thing? Ew, yuck, no. I don't date players. Okay, that's amazing. Maybe I'll ask him out then. I suddenly found myself grabbing her by her hair. Don't even think about it. My friend was totally surprised by my behavior, and so was I. I realized that I was actually having a crush on Julian, but I would never admit it, ever. A week later, Mrs. Branson hosted a grand New Year's Eve party at the mansion, and I helped the kitchen staff serve the food. I couldn't help noticing Julian staring at me the whole evening. It made me feel excited for some reason. While I was washing the dishes, someone suddenly breathed down my neck. Wanna get out of here? Your mom's gonna kill me. So you're scared? Where's that fearless little girl who used to kick my butt? And I was sold. We sneaked out and slipped into a sports car. Where are we going? Wherever fate is taking us. I was so confused when he brought me to a grass field. Why are we here exactly? You'll have to wait for it. As we sat on the car's hood and waited for whatever it was, we started talking. Why do you like racing so much? It's too dangerous. Racing makes me feel like I'm flying, like I'm alive and free. How about you? Do you still want to become a nurse? Of course. Remember when you stole my stethoscope when we were kids? It was just so cute how you ran around and listened to random people's heartbeats and tummies. Oh, look, there it is. Suddenly, the night sky was filled with the most spectacular fireworks. I remember you wanted to see those New Year's fireworks so badly once when we were kids, but you missed it because Candace and I locked you up in a bathroom. Yep, you both are horrible creatures. I'm sorry about that. I was a dumb kid. I felt butterflies as we watched the fireworks in silence. I closed my eyes and just enjoyed the colors behind my eyes. When I opened them again, I saw him staring at me. He was leaning in closer when suddenly my phone started to ring. It was Mrs. Branson. Your mom is calling. We need to go back. Can we make it in 10? Try me. He winked at me before stepping on the pedal, and the next thing I knew, I was screaming as he drove like a maniac. The party wasn't over yet when we got back home. As we sneaked in from the back, we suddenly saw Mrs. Branson walking towards us. Just then, Julian pushed me down to my knees. Why can't you find it? Are you blind? I immediately got what he meant, so I started crawling around pretending to find something. Stellar, I've been looking for you. What are you doing here? I dropped my ring, Mom, and I'm asking her to look for it. Mrs. Branson seemed to believe us. I was so relieved. But later that night, as I was clearing the mess, I almost fell back in fright to see her standing behind me. Do you really think that I have no idea what you're up to? I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. Stop with your acting, Stellar, and don't forget your place in this house. You're a maid, just like your mom, and that's all you'll ever be. Stay away from my son." I'd already expected this to happen, and I started avoiding Julian as much as possible. I couldn't afford to get us thrown out while Mom was unwell, but it was hard, especially when I found out Julian had fallen really sick. After making sure that Mom was asleep, I sneaked into the mansion and into his room one night. He seemed to be having a really high fever, and he looked so vulnerable as he slept. I stayed by his side for hours, but just as I was about to leave, he suddenly pulled me down towards him and kissed me. I got lost for a few seconds, but then I quickly pulled away. That was a mistake. I shouldn't even be here. It's not a mistake. I really like you, Stellar, and I hope you feel the same. Stop liking me, Julian. We won't work out. I'm not the girl for you. I won't fit into your world, and your family will never approve of us. Please stop thinking about other people. Just tell me how you feel. I chose not to answer him and walked out, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. A few days later, Candace and her friends were having a pool party, and I went out to serve them drinks. I saw Julian was with them, and one of the girls was literally all over him. The sight made my blood boil. I slammed down the tray and turned to Julian. "Excuse me, sir, but can you please come to the kitchen for a moment? I need to show you something." He looked confused and followed me. "What is it?" I grabbed a tray and tapped it on his head. "Stars. Can you see them?" "I can only see a jealous girl, but you're the one who told me we won't work, Stellar." "So that's it. Now you suddenly don't have feelings for me? You're just a player, Julian. One day you're kissing me, the next day you're flirting with some—" Just then, he gently pushed me against the wall and kissed me, and this time, I kissed him back. I couldn't stay away from him anymore, and we began dating in secret. We started sneaking out at night and driving around, and we had the best nights of our lives. But then one day, he looked at me seriously and said, "I'm tired of seeing you secretly, Stellar. I just want to let the world know that I'm dating an amazing girl like you. But I'm just a maid, and I'm sure it will be a huge problem with your family. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'll find a way. I just need you to trust me." "I do trust you." A week later, Julian's dad came back from abroad, and Mrs. Branson held a huge party for him. During the event, I looked around for Julian, but he seemed way too busy with his guests and didn't look my way once. I didn't think too much of it until Mrs. Branson stepped on the grand staircase in the hall and asked for everyone's attention. "Since we're all gathered here tonight, I can't wait to share some amazing news. My son, Julian, and our business partner's daughter, Casey, are engaged. Cheers to the lovely couple." I stared at Julian in complete shock as he joined his mom with the girl who'd been flirting with him by the pool. And he looked so happy. How could he do this to me? Feeling dazed, I was leaving the room in tears when suddenly Candace stepped in front of me with a smirk. "Oh, I warned you. You're not his type. Not every Cinderella gets her Prince Charming." Just then, I turned red with rage. I was still holding a tray of appetizers, and I slammed it in Candace's face. Everyone gasped and stared at me, and I left as fast as I could. I ran back to our cottage and started packing our things. "We have to leave, Mom." "But why? What's happening, sweetie?" "I can't stay here. Not another minute. We'll be thrown out anyway, so we might as well go ourselves." I cried as I told her everything, and she started helping me pack. As the cab drove us away from that mansion, Mom took my hand. "We should have left years ago, but I was too weak. I just let us suffer without doing anything. What will happen to us now?" "No, Mom. You're so strong for putting up with everything for me. Don't worry. We're gonna get through this together." We had enough savings to rent a cheap apartment, and I also sold the branded bag I'd taken from the trash. It was actually worth a small fortune. With some money to go by, we both started looking for jobs. Mom fully recovered soon and started working as a hotel maid, while I worked as a waitress. I also applied for a scholarship to a nursing school, and luckily, I got in. I studied and worked hard for 5 years and was finally an intern at a huge hospital. One day, I found a bouquet of roses in my hospital locker, and I hated myself for wishing it was from Julian. But it wasn't. It was a patient I'd taken care of some time ago, Enrique. He admitted he liked me and asked me out. Enrique was charming and sweet, but I told him I was too busy for love. But boy, was he persistent. He kept showing up and asking me out in the funniest ways. And after months, I finally decided to give him a chance. One evening, as I was stepping out of my apartment to meet Enrique, I bumped straight into someone and apologized. When I looked up, I saw that it was Julian. What? What are you doing here?
Are you going out on a date? You look lovelier than ever.
Are you freaking kidding me? You're not even ashamed to face me after what you did? And now you're flirting with me? Just wow. I wonder what your wife would have to say about that.
I didn't marry her. I didn't want to spend my life being miserable. I also cut ties with my family.
Do I look like I care? It's been 5 years, Julian. Please, just get lost. Before he could say another word, I walked away, shaking with rage. I wondered if he was telling the truth. But even so, he broke my heart in front of everyone, and I could never forgive him for that. Julian had somehow gotten a hold of my number, and he kept texting me to meet him once, but I kept ignoring him. One day at the hospital, we received a patient who'd been in a bad car accident, and when I looked at the patient chart, my heart leapt into my throat. It was Julian. I rushed to his room and took his hand as tears streamed down my cheeks. He suddenly opened his eyes and started talking. I tried to calm him down, but he wouldn't stop.
You have to listen to me, Stellar. Mom threatened to put your mom away in jail for stealing if I didn't break up with you. I knew she really meant it. So I agreed to do something that would make you hate me and drive you far away. I was young and weak, and I thought I was doing the right thing. But now I've cut off my family and made something of myself. And there's no point to anything if I don't have you in my life.
Gosh, you wanted my attention? You have it. Just shut up and be strong for me right now, okay?
Only if you say you love me, because I do.
I'll see how I feel after a few dates. So you better get well soon, you moron. I bent down and kissed him on the lips, and his blood pressure shot up from excitement. My mom was a popular Italian actress, so right since I was a toddler, I was used to the paparazzi going berserk the moment I stepped out in public. And honestly, I loved being in the spotlight.
Hello guys, ready for some new poses?
I always knew I wanted to be an actress like Mom, so I begged her to take me to auditions. I'd get in front of the camera and everyone would go nuts.
Mamma mia, Valentina, you're a born actor.
Well, that was kinda true. Mom said I was a very expressive baby. And when I was in the 2nd grade, I pretended for a whole year that I was some celebrity whose life was being secretly recorded. Thanks to my natural acting skills, I was already a successful actress by the time I was 15. My life was almost perfect, but things started going downhill quickly after that. Mom lost some film contracts to younger actresses, and she started getting plastic surgeries to look younger. A few of them went horribly wrong. Mom, what did you do to your lips? You look like a duck.
Shush, I know what I'm doing, Valentina.
But Mom ended up looking so weird. No one wanted to cast her in their films anymore. This broke her heart, and she slowly transformed into this wild party animal who dated a new guy every month. And the worst part? She was blowing tons of money buying expensive gifts for them. Mom, I just saw your boyfriend kissing one of our maids. He's a total jerk.
Oh, really? Then I guess I'll give that limited edition Rolex watch to my next boyfriend.
Mom kept going around with the biggest buttheads on the planet and spending money like water. Her falling reputation in film circles affected me too, and in a matter of a few months, we were both sitting at home with no work. Then Mom tried one business idea after another, but nothing worked out. And soon enough, we exhausted all our savings. Even the banks kicked us out, and all of our relatives turned us away. I was so angry at Mom for getting us into this mess, and the paparazzi were having a field day selling news about our downfall. But one night, Mom walked into my room and sat on my bed. Valentina, I'm so sorry about everything. Oh, how I just wish that American business was in my name. That could have saved us right now. What business? I invested in a perfume business with my friend in the US a few years back, and it became really successful. But it's entirely in her name. Why? I didn't want to pay the taxes. Oh my God, that was typical Mom. Last year, I had a fight with her, and now that witch won't give me my share of the investment back. What if I go to the US and talk to her? Mom loved the idea. and I took the next flight to the US. When I reached Mom's friend's house, she looked pleased to see me.
Wow, you're as pretty as your mom. Or as pretty as she used to be once.
Thank you. I think you know why I'm here.
Your mom and I are childhood friends, and you're very welcome in my house. Stay as long as you like.
But I'm talking about Mom's investment.
What's the hurry, Valentina? We'll talk about this unpleasant business later.
The next day, I kept trying to remind her of Mom's money, but she simply wouldn't talk about it. I knew this was not going to be easy, but I was determined to get our money back from that witch. One day, as I was leaving her study, I bumped into a boy around my age. I figured he was Mom's friend's son, and for some reason, he was dressed like Michael Jackson.
Hi, I'm Will, but I guess you already know that.
How would I know your name?
I know yours.
That's because I'm famous. Ugh, why is everyone here so stupid?
Hey, I'm not stupid. In fact, I might just be the solution to all your problems. Mom told me why you're here. I can help you get your money back in a month. Mom will do anything I say. Trust me, but on one condition.
And what's that?
You have to fake date me in front of my ex. She dumped me last month for another guy, and I'd love to show her that I'm with someone like you. You're a great actress. It shouldn't be a problem.
I stared at him and thought about it. Fake dating this weirdo wasn't something I was looking forward to, but I really needed that money. We have a deal. You get me my money in a month, and I'll make sure your ex eats her heart out and runs back to you. The next morning, I was nervous about going to a new school in a foreign country, but when I got there, kids practically jumped on me. You're that Italian actress, Valentina, right?
I saw your toilet cleaner commercial. You looked like a goddess cleaning toilets with your perfect hands.
Just then, a guy took off his t-shirt and asked me to sign it. I obliged my fan happily, and soon, all the guys were doing that. I was loving this place. But just then, a teacher came and told everyone to put their shirts back on. What a buzzkill. I looked for Will to show me around school, but he simply disappeared. Sometime later, I found him in the cafeteria in a corner with a guy who seemed to be bullying him. There was a pretty blonde girl with them too. The bully took out a paper from his pocket and started shouting,
"Attention, everyone. Here's a song that our lover boy Will once wrote Mia. Mia, you're as sweet as honey. I'll buy you gifts with my money. Your hair is silky smooth. I even like your wisdom tooth."
The girl, who I guessed was Will's ex, looked really uncomfortable. Stop it, you're embarrassing him. But obviously, that jerk just kept laughing and going on. I walked over and snatched the paper from him. What is wrong with you? You're such a rude donkey. And Will, I didn't know you write so well, babe. I'm so glad I met you in Italy last summer. That caught Mia's attention. Wait, last summer? As in, before Will and I dated? Don't worry, we didn't start talking again until an hour after you broke up. Mia turned red and walked away with her moron boyfriend.
Whoa, did you see how jealous she looked? You're awesome.
Tell me something I don't know. By the way, that song was, awful.
I promise, I've gotten better since.
For the first time, I saw Will smile and noticed his cute dimples. The next day, Will turned up at school wearing a t-shirt with my photo printed on it, and it had Sugar Boo written in bold letters. And at lunch, he was standing on a chair in the cafeteria waving me over.
Valentina, the love of your life is here.
It was so freaking embarrassing. But just as I was pulling him down, Mia walked in, so I grabbed Will's collar and kissed him. Babe, I missed you so much. It's been 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 23 seconds since I last saw you.
Oh, my Sugar Boo. I'm sure it must have hurt when you fell from heaven. Is there an airport nearby, or is my heart taking off?
God, he could win an Oscar for overacting. Later that day, I gave Will some tips on how to be a cool boyfriend. No more sleazy pickup lines or cringy songs.
But I read online that girls want their boyfriends to write songs for them.
Yeah, if they are good at it, which you are not, my friend. You just get me chocolates and flowers. Luckily, Will turned out to be a fast learner. We kept fake dating for a few weeks, and to be honest, it was fun. I even took him to the mall one day and gave him a complete makeover. The next day at school, I could see jaws drop when we walked hand in hand. Will was loving being popular,
but the idiot was still hung up on Mia. Our fake dating is working. I caught Mia looking at us 17 times today.
Come on. Do you still want to date Mia? I don't think she's anything special. And with your new looks, any girl would go out with you.
Any girl? Will you go out with me? I mean, for real? That question took me by surprise. See, the problem is your life's always been so perfect that you have no idea what rejection feels like.
I wasn't rejecting you. And just so you know, my life is far from perfect. I'm here in a foreign country, miles away from home, just because my mom blew all our money, and I can't even land a movie role. But the point is, you deserve better than Mia.
Maybe you're right. Okay, now you stop frowning, or you'll get wrinkles on your pretty face. He gently pinched my cheek, and for some reason, I felt butterflies in my tummy. Weird. A few days later, Mia surprised both me and Will when she came over and invited us to a party at her place. Will was excited to go, so I said yes. Mia had invited the whole class, and we were having a blast dancing when suddenly a slow song started playing. Will pulled me close, and we swayed to the slow beats. My heart was racing a bit, and he smiled down at me with those adorable dimples. And suddenly, he kissed me, and not like one of our fake kisses. I felt like the world around me had stopped. When he pulled back, I was breathless, and I thought he looked shaken too. Mia saw us kissing. I'm sure she must be burning with jealousy. Wait, she's coming our way. Be cool, Will.
Oh, so the kiss was for Mia. That shouldn't have hurt, but strangely it did. Well, I wanted to talk to you for a moment. He immediately let go of me and followed Mia. I just stood there like an idiot. When Will didn't return for half an hour, I went looking for him and found him in the kitchen, washing dishes. Will, what's the matter with you? You left me alone for this?
Actually, Mia's maid didn't turn up, so she asked me to help her. And guess what? She said she'd even think about getting back with me.
What? Suddenly, dozens of kids barged into the kitchen along with Mia's boyfriend, who started recording Will on his phone.
This is your place, you loser. Can you come to my party next week? I'll pay you $50 to do the dishes.
Everyone started laughing, and just then, Mia walked in too. Stop it, you all! I asked Will to help me. He's just being a good friend. But Will didn't say anything. He simply took off his apron and left. I decided to leave the party too. But suddenly, Mia grabbed my arm. Remember this. Will might pretend to like you, but I still have him wrapped around my finger. He'll do anything for me, and I can have him back anytime I want. So, you're just going to keep stringing him along? You're a witch, Mia. And guess what? When I was looking for Will earlier, I saw your boyfriend making out with another girl in the bathroom. And I wasn't even lying. Those two jerks deserved each other. When I reached home, I marched straight up to Will's room angrily. How do you feel making a complete fool of yourself?
Well, Mia did side with me.
Oh, stop it. Do you seriously think she wants to get back with you? She's manipulating you. Are you blind?
What's your problem? Don't you want me to get back with Mia so that you can just get your money and leave?
You're pathetic, Will. Know your own worth and have some self-respect, dude.
I don't remember asking you for a lecture on how to live my life.
Fine. Do whatever you want. Date Mia, marry her, whatever. I don't care. I slammed the door hard and stormed off to my room. Idiot. The next day, I didn't even sit with Will at lunch. And I felt even madder when I saw Mia walk up to him. Will, I broke up with my boyfriend. That jerk was cheating on me. And I was a fool not to realize how amazing you were. Can we get back together? I know you still care.
Well, I'm not too sure about that anymore. I'm done being your backup plan, Mia. Good luck with your life, but I'm not interested anymore.
Mia looked stunned, and Will just walked out. That was amazing! When I reached home that day, I found Will waiting for me in my room with an envelope in his hands.
You kept your part of the deal. Now it's my turn.
I took the envelope, and when I opened it, my eyes almost popped out. It was a check for $20 million. How did you manage to do this?
Let's just say I'm Mom's only weakness, so it wasn't that difficult.
Thank you. I guess now there is no reason for me to stay back any longer. Will looked at me and then spoke.
I guess there isn't. I'll drop you at the airport when you're ready.
Soon, I flew back to Italy, and Mom and I started our own perfume business with that money. Thankfully, it took off. And I also started getting acting offers once things settled down. One day while I was shooting, I noticed a familiar face in the crowd. A face I'd been dying to see again. Will, what are you doing here?
Listen, Valentina. I know I suck at writing songs, but I have to say this.
Oh, please, not a song.
Just listen. No matter what I do, I'm always thinking of you. You're stuck in my head like glue, and I think I'm in love with you.
You're such a doofus, Will. And I love you too. I was walking towards the lockers one day when I noticed the 3 most popular boys in school looking at me, like I was some kind of snack. It was the first time in 2 years they'd noticed me. Then they were suddenly smiling at me. What's going on? I got so nervous, I crashed straight into an open locker door and my books fell to the floor. Wow, what an entry.
Seriously? Her? The nerd? Well, she is cute, but are you sure she should be our new target? She looks too innocent. Heck yeah! I'm gonna make her fall in love with me and win the bet. Get your $10 million ready, losers. We'll see about that.
Hi, my name is Athena, and let me tell you how these 3 annoying playboys pulled me into the most confusing situation ever. First though, please hit the like and subscribe button. After my class, I was walking down the stairs when I suddenly tripped, but someone caught me just in time. It was Andre, the guy who was literally dating half of the female population in our school. He was staring at my lips as he pulled me close.
Your lips look lonely. Do they want to meet mine?
Please, get off me.
Whoa, easy there, baby girl.
I'd rather kiss a trash can, by the way. Oh, wait, what's the difference? I smiled at seeing the shocked look on his face. Walking away, I almost tripped over a random calculator someone had left on the floor. I dropped my books, and before I could pick them up, someone was doing it for me.
You should watch your step next time, princess.
For a second, I was stunned to see Tanner, the guy with the biggest Instagram following. He was grinning at me, and boy, he looked like a prince.
Would you mind taking a picture of me for my Insta?
He pushed his phone and started posing like he was God's gift to women. I didn't know how to react, so I put his phone down on the floor and awkwardly walked away to find an empty classroom. As I walked in, I was surprised to see someone sleeping in there. I shook his shoulder to wake him up, only to gasp when I realized it was Lucas, the handsome sleepyhead. What are you doing here? This is my place.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see your name on the door.
I ignored his sarcasm and was about to head out before he spoke again.
We can share this room, if you want.
Suddenly, the teacher came in and thought we'd been making out in there or something. She kicked us out, and it was so embarrassing, even more than all the tripping over. I had to avoid these heartbreakers. They were called the triple threat for a reason, and I hated guys like them. After my classes were finished, I found the 3 of them outside waiting for someone. They all smiled at me. Uh-oh.
Hey, baby girl. I think you're an engine, because my car won't start without you. Come on, princess. Let's get out of here. I'll give you a ride home.
Lucas just gave me a nod and signaled for me to get in. What in the world was happening? I hurriedly walked out of the gate to avoid them. When I entered the cafeteria the next day, I was greeted with milkshakes, coffees, burgers, and nuggets. It was the boys again. I turned them all down and chose to sit on a table alone as I ate. I heard some girls behind me talking about me. Seriously? Why are they after that lame junior? It must be a prank. There's no way they'd notice her otherwise. She's ugly. I turned to look at the girls and said, I really want to punch all you girls right now. But, you know, I'm busy dealing with attractive boys drooling over me now. Ciao. But I was furious. I had to know if I was really the target of a stupid prank. A few days later, as I was passing by the boys' locker room, I noticed that the door was slightly open. I saw the trio inside. I hid behind a locker to listen. God, what is that smell? Do boys even shower?
Give me 2 days, and she'll be following me around like a puppy. I don't think so. She's kinda challenging. Nah, she's just plain hard to get, Tanner. You guys should learn from me.
I couldn't believe it. These players had put a bet on me. I'd show them. They'd pick the wrong girl to mess with. I was gonna make them pay. Let the games begin. The drama club I was in had a show the next day, and my role was a stupid tree. The scene had a windy day, so when I started swaying my arms, someone gave a standing ovation from the audience.
Woo! Best actress ever. That's my girl.
What was he doing? After the show, he came over and gave me a bouquet of flowers and a gigantic teddy bear.
Babe, you know what? There's something wrong with my phone. It doesn't have your number in it.
He wouldn't leave until I put my number in his phone. The next day, while I was walking to school, I noticed a familiar sports car following me.
Hop in, princess.
It was Tanner. This time I got in. Let's see what his deal is. During the ride, I spilled my coffee over his squeaky clean dashboard on purpose. Oops, sorry, I'm just so clumsy. I was expecting him to get mad about it, but instead, he reached for some tissues and cleaned my hands with them. I found myself staring at him while my heart raced. No. It was all just an act. Get a grip, Athena. When we reached school, he helped me get out of the car.
Right. Slow down.
Geez, I'm not blind.
Seems like it sometimes.
I glared at him. Is there something you want to say? He just flashed a big smile and turned to fix his hair in the car window. So annoying. I walked off to class. Halfway through the lesson, when the teacher had her back to us, someone from the table next to me whispered, "Psst." I looked up to see that it was Andre.
Why'd you come here with Tanner? You know guys like him are jerks who will just break your heart. You know I'm totally serious about you.
Then he kissed my hand. Oh, please. How serious are you?
There's no number to express.
Then prove it to me.
Sure, baby girl, but how?
I'll tell you about it at lunch.
I can't wait. I swear. I'll do anything for you.
Just then the teacher kicked him out of the class for making all these noises. Everyone giggled, but he didn't look the least bit embarrassed. He winked and walked off. Lunchtime came and he was already waiting. I wanted to ruin his reputation, especially in front of the girls, so I whispered my dare to him and his eyes grew wide.
If I do it, will you be my girlfriend?
I nodded. He immediately walked to the front of the cafeteria, jumped on a table, and shouted,
I have something to confess. I wet my bed every night, and I don't know what to do anymore.
I burst out laughing when he made a whole drama out of it while fake crying. But to my surprise, the girls started comforting him. What? My plan had backfired, so I sneaked out of the room, devastated. The next day, while I was reaching for a book in the library, Lucas suddenly appeared and grabbed it for me. I gave him a smile, but he just nodded. While I was doing my homework, he sat across from me and started reading a book. I waited for him to say hello or something, but he totally ignored me. I asked him what he was reading, but he just gave me a glare. Oh, I get it. He was using the snobbish bad boy style. I moved beside him and leaned in. Are you mute, or does your breath just stink? I was caught off guard when he grinned.
Do you really want to know?
I immediately pulled away when our lips almost touched. I cleared my throat and got myself back on track. Are you free tomorrow? I just need someone to go somewhere with me.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Later that night, I did a little research on Lucas and grinned when I read a comment about him having a phobia of heights in one of his Instagram posts. He was surprised when I brought him to an amusement park the next day. I forced him to try all the rides, and I was laughing my butt off whenever he screamed like a girl. Stop being such a wuss, Lucas. Let's try the pirate ship one more time. Just then, he started throwing up, and I couldn't stop laughing. I wanted to have more fun, so I acted like I'd sprained my ankle and let him carry me all around the place. Then I asked him to buy me some fries. When he bought them, I said, "Oh shoot, I'm also craving a banana split and a cheeseburger." I could barely stop myself from laughing at his annoyed face. Poor guy later fell asleep on the bench while I ate all the food. All of a sudden, I screamed in his ear. He jolted awake and asked what had happened. I told him that I was just thirsty and I needed some soda. He finally snapped.
Buy it yourself, girl. Jeez, you're so annoying.
And just like that, Lucas gave up. 1 down, 2 to go. Andre continued pestering me at school while Lucas was nowhere to be found. During lunch, Tanner sat beside me and asked me if I'd like to go on a date with him to the Bahamas. I want to get to know you first before going anywhere alone with you. I don't even know anything about your family.
Not a problem. You could join us for dinner tonight.
I did a happy dance on the inside. Everything was going according to plan. I told him that I'd come myself, so I just asked his address. That night, I borrowed my friend's hyperactive cats and brought them with me. Tanner looked so happy as he opened the door. My mom's out, so no one can babysit them. I put the basket down and the cats started running everywhere, scratching paintings and knocking over expensive vases. Sorry, they get their clumsiness from their mama. He looked totally unaffected.
Your kittens are adorable. Like you. Come on, dinner's ready. And they're all waiting for you.
His parents looked so sophisticated, and I was surprised to see that he had 4 little sisters. They all flocked around me like it was their first time seeing a girl. I started fake crying when dinner was served.
What's wrong?
I don't eat chicken. Poor little creatures. His mom asked me, "Oh, are you vegetarian?" "No, only for chickens. Chicken saved my life one time when I was crossing the road." Tanner immediately told the cook to change my food, and when we started eating, my cat suddenly jumped on the table and turned everything into a disaster. The look of horror on the faces of the Tanner family was epic. Sorry. I was shocked when his mom took the cats and started petting them. Unbelievable. It's fine. They're just asking for some love. I then placed my feet on the table and let out the loudest burp. Thanks for the splendid meal.
Anything for you.
Darn, he was such a good actor. After dinner, his mom showed me their family albums, and I couldn't help but notice how cute baby Tanner was. As I watched him play with his sisters, I realized that he wasn't really a self-absorbed jerk after all. While heading out that night, I tripped over something as usual and dropped my glasses. Tanner picked them up from me and looked at my bare face lovingly.
Wow, your beauty is so unreal, so perfect.
I realized that he was actually talking to me. I felt my heart beating faster. He looked so sincere, and it made me feel like I was the most beautiful girl in the world. Apparently, my efforts to get rid of him hadn't worked tonight, but why was I smiling? The next day, Andre sneaked in through my window. "Why are you here?"
There's a party nearby. Come on.
I told him that parties weren't my thing, and besides, I didn't have anything to wear.
Say no more, baby girl. Come with me.
I needed to mess with him more, so I went with him to the mall. He bought me a cute red dress and gave me a makeover.
Wow, you look like someone I know.
Who?
My next girlfriend.
Oh, please. I went to the party with Andre, and everyone was shocked upon seeing me. They thought I was a totally different person. While dancing with Andre, I couldn't help but notice Tanner and Lucas looking at me from across the room. A girl walked up to Tanner and started dancing with him. For some reason, the sight made my blood boil. I excused myself to the toilet, and when I came back, Andre was now dancing sweetly with another girl. Of course, he was a player, so I wasn't surprised. Lucas followed me when I went outside to the garden.
I'm sorry about what happened the other day, Athena. I was so stupid for doing such a horrible thing to a pretty girl like you.
Oh, wow. From a jerk to a Romeo. He really wanted to win that bet.
I really like you, and I hope you feel the same way.
He looked so genuine that I almost got carried away. I was about to say something, but then someone snatched me away from him. Tanner.
What's your problem, dude?
That's it. We need to stop this. I won't let you play with her feelings.
What are you talking about? I really like her.
And pigs can fly, Lucas. Before they could punch each other, Andre came over to stop them, and I just stood between them, looking like a confused little kitten.
Cut it out, you idiots. She's mine. Stay out of this, loser. You're hopeless. She was about to say yes to me.
Excuse me? I don't even like you.
Shut up. You know what? Take the Dawn money. Here's 10 million for each of you. Just leave her alone. Best decision ever, Tanner.
I was shocked. Did he just give away $20 million? Just like that? Tanner then grabbed my hand and said,
"Get out of here, Athena. You don't deserve to be treated like this. Stop pretending like you really care, Tanner."
Tanner looked so furious. Cut it out. I've known about the bet all this time, and I've been playing all of you idiots. You all lose. They were all shocked at my revelation. Andre and Lucas grabbed the bags from Tanner and ran away, while Tanner just stood there, shocked.
I'm sorry for everything, Athena. Goodbye.
My heart sank as I watched him walk away. My wish was finally granted. The jerks had finally stopped bothering me, and I should have been happy and relieved, right? But I wasn't. The next day, my mom came running to me with shocking news. Someone called Tanner had put $10 million into our account. We're rich. Wait, what? What was he doing? I ran to the school to talk to him, but he wasn't there. For 2 weeks, there was no sign of Tanner. Then one day, he finally showed up with a gorgeous blonde. She was all over him. After school, I found them kissing behind the bleachers. I tore him away and asked him about the money, but he walked away saying,
I don't know what you're talking about. Go away.
As he walked away, I knew he was lying, so that night I went to his house. His mom told me to wait in his room. As I looked around, I saw something that shocked me. My lost anklet. It was placed carefully on his desk. Just then the door opened and Tanner came in. He looked shocked to see me and the anklet in my hand. Explain this. For a minute, he looked like he was going to deny everything, but to my surprise, he came forward and held my hand.
I'm sorry I agreed to that stupid bet. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I don't want to do that anymore. I tried to forget you and what I did to you. That's why I was with that girl. Athena, I love you. I always have since the day I first spoke to you and found your anklet. Can you forgive me?
Yes, Tanner, I forgive you. He looked at me expectantly.
Oh, that's it? I said I love you. Do you, love me?
Oh, yes, that too.
He rolled his eyes at me and said, I can't believe I fell in love with you.
Kinda late for that. Just shut up and kiss me now.
Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me.
I just finished 5 photo shoots in London, attended a fashion show in Paris, done an interview for Vogue Italia, and now my exhausted body was about to have some pampering in the fanciest hotel in Greece, all by myself. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang in my room. I went to go check what it was, and I was shocked to see one of my luggage bags moving. I slowly opened it, and a creepy stranger suddenly sprang out from it while sniffing my favorite dress. My bodyguards rushed as I screamed in horror. This is a serious invasion of my privacy. Take him away right now.
Iris, I'm begging you. Just one kiss and a selfie. I'm your #1 fan!
Oh, please. Can I ever get a freaking break? Hi, my name is Iris, and I'm a famous supermodel with a billionaire boyfriend. It might sound like every teenage girl's dream, but for me, it was my worst nightmare. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. The hotel incident was circulating on the news in no time, and as soon as I reached my parents, they immediately fired my bodyguards. I forced my manager to clear my schedule for a week so I could just breathe, but the universe literally said no. While I was doing yoga in my room, someone suddenly barged in. It was my new boyfriend, Rocco. He was the son of an A-list actor, and he seemed pretty cool. Not to mention, really, really hot. Rocco, what are you doing here? It's been 8 minutes since my last chat. Why aren't you replying? You came all the way here just for that?
No, I came here to do this. Will you marry me?
What the freaking crabs? Are you crazy? We'd been dating for like 5 days.
You made me believe you loved me.
I don't even know your eye color, Rocco. Suddenly, he started bawling like a baby on the floor.
Oh my God, my heart. It hurts so bad.
What the heck are you doing?
I love you, Iris. I won't leave until you say yes.
He really meant it, and I had to have him thrown out by security. After all the crazy incidents with the paparazzi and my fans, Rocco was the last straw, and I'd finally had enough. I was tired of being worshipped and followed because I was a famous model. One day, as I was watching my favorite channel, MSA, I came across a video of a model who got plastic surgery to change her identity. It would be amazing to just disappear and return as a completely different person. Wait, that was actually a great idea. I tried on a black wig with bangs to cover my eyes, changed my eye color from blue to green, threw in some makeup and baggy clothes, and I couldn't even recognize myself. Mom screamed upon seeing me and almost reported me as a trespasser. I told them about my plan of giving up my career and identity for a while, and Dad told me I was crazy. No, Dad, I'm not. I just want to be a normal girl living a normal life with no bodyguards and obsessed fans around me 24/7. I want to live somewhere else that no one knows about. I've been homeschooled all my life, And now I want to go to an actual school and have friends. Please, let me have this. I'm begging you. They were speechless for a whole minute.
Do as you please, sweetheart. Take a break for as long as you want. You deserve it.
Dad?
Fine, but on one condition. I'll choose the apartment for you, and you have to take at least 2 maids with you.
Deal. And just like that, I was off to a new chapter in my life as the cool and mysterious Siri. As I was walking towards the school building on my first day, I suddenly stopped upon seeing a scary dog in the middle of the road. And when it started to chase me, suddenly a skateboard came flying into the air, scaring it away. Gosh, that was close. I turned to my savior, and he was cute. Hey there, thanks for saving my life.
What? I was just doing a backflip and my skateboard slipped.
You still saved my life. What's your name?
You're not my type, sweet cakes, so move on.
Wait, did he just reject me? Well, that was something new. I had never felt so lost when I finally got into the school building. Everyone was wearing Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, Hermes, and Prada, and they were all fake. Was this an actual school or an amateur fashion club? And everyone was looking at me like I was wearing something disgusting. Was it because of my oversized hoodie? But I had to look as different as I possibly could from my original self. When I finally got into my class, no one even glanced at me. For the first time, I felt invisible, and I wasn't complaining. I headed to an empty seat, but before I could finally sit, a girl put gum on it. I don't sit with losers. Me? A loser? Huh? Just then, a familiar guy came in. It was the skater boy. Hey, do you remember me? We met earlier today.
Are you stalking me? Just give it up, sweet cakes.
I was already here, and my name isn't Sweet Cakes, it's Siri.
So, you're like the real-life Siri, iPhone's virtual assistant?
I just spelled my name backward for this identity, and that hadn't even crossed my mind.
Hey guys, we got the real-life Siri over here.
Then they all started making fun of my fake name, and it was so annoying. Hey Siri, can I eat my shoes without dying?
Hey Siri, would a worm eat a dead worm?
I put my headphones on, but Skater Boy took them off.
Why aren't you answering our questions? Are you glitching or something?
Haven't you heard of the latest Apple update? Siri won't answer stupid questions from now on.
I didn't know Siri was actually feisty.
Just then, a familiar girl entered, and her eyes went straight to me. OMG, what a terrible day to have eyes. That outfit is horrible. Someone take this new girl out of this room right now.
Stop acting like you're the fashion queen, Peyton. Remember how you got rejected for a commercial and never made it as a model? And your tantrum video went viral?
Those people were just blind. I couldn't believe they chose that trash Iris over me. She stole my place.
Iris is not trash. Iris is a goddess.
Wait, Iris? Sorry to butt in, but are you guys talking about the supermodel? Yes, the worst supermodel of all time. Oh, now I remembered this girl. She'd auditioned with me for the commercial that launched my career, and she'd thrown a huge tantrum when she wasn't selected. And Skater Boy actually had a crush on me. How interesting. Soon, I learned that his name was Marcus. He was living in the same neighborhood as mine, and he was famous for his pranks. One time, he brought a freaking cow to school and left it at the top of the stairs. No one knew how he managed to do it. Another time, he stole the teacher's necklace and replaced it with a fake snake, and she literally passed out. He was insane. One day in the library, I was trying to get a book from a higher shelf, but I couldn't reach it, and he suddenly appeared behind me.
You need help?
Yes, please. I need that book over there. To my surprise, he transferred it to the very top shelf instead and walked off. Ugh, he was really something else. It was lunchtime and I was starving. As a model, I was always on a very strict diet, but now I could eat whatever I wanted. No one wanted to sit with me, so I chose a table at the corner. And just then, Marcus came over with his friends.
This is our table. Go away.
Sorry, I didn't see your name on it. Can't we share it?
We can, but on one condition. You have to clean my skateboard later. I ran over a huge pile of poop.
No thanks. I'd rather eat on the floor. And with that, I did what I said, and everyone looked so confused. Marcus started calling me a weirdo since then. Over the next few days, I noticed that Peyton kept spreading fake information about me, the model Iris. She obviously hated me and wanted everyone to join the club. I heard that her breath smells like cat's poop and her head is full of dandruff, and all her boyfriends ditched her because she's too clingy. Oh my god, ew, why is she even a model? You're way better than her, girl. I know, right? So unfair. I don't deserve this. I was about to say something, but someone did it for me first.
Stop farting through your mouth, Peyton. Those are all lies.
Truth hurts, darling. I heard she quit modeling. Maybe she finally realized she isn't anything special. Yet somehow she's a famous supermodel with tons of fans, and you've got this lame haters club in school. You seem obsessed with her. Marcus burst out laughing and shouted,
You tell her, weirdo.
While Peyton looked furious. I thought she'd rip my hair out, but instead she just stormed off angrily. On my way to class the next day, a girl bumped into me and spilled her coffee all over my shirt right before a presentation. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. She offered to lend me her extra shirt in her locker, and I thought that was really nice of her. But in the middle of the presentation, I started scratching myself, and I couldn't stop. Soon, everyone was laughing like wild hyenas, including Marcus. When I saw my reflection, I could barely recognize myself. My skin was red and bloated. I looked like a pufferfish. Just then, I saw Peyton and that girl high-fiving. I knew they'd planned this. Oh, I was so gonna make her pay. I was then sent to the clinic, and the nurse told me to continue my treatment at home. Later that night, I was about to sleep when someone crashed through my window. I grabbed a bat to attack the intruder, and then I realized it was Marcus.
Relax, weirdo. It's just me.
Oh no, I didn't have my wig and contact lens on. I grabbed my shades and wrapped a pillowcase around my hair before facing him.
Why are you wearing that at midnight? You look like a stupid sushi roll.
I don't have to explain myself to you. Anyway, get out. You're trespassing.
Calm down, okay? I just wanted to give you this. An apology gift for laughing at you earlier.
I was about to smile when I realized that it was a pufferfish. Seriously? Ow. He then told me that he overheard Peyton and her friend talking about how they'd put some chemical on that shirt.
That was really uncool. Let's go to her house tonight and release tons of bugs in her room.
No, I don't like that kind of revenge. It's lame.
Tell me what's not lame then.
Oh, you'll know it tomorrow. The next day, I surprised everyone by wearing the most expensive Gucci hoodie and boots as I walked in the hallway like a fashion model. You think you're a star now just because you're wearing fake Gucci? Wake up, dummy. You're dreaming. Are you talking about yourself? I slapped her with the receipt of the items, and she suddenly forgot how to speak.
Dude, that was so cool. You literally ate that witch alive.
That's how you do it.
Teach me your ways, senpai.
Only if you'll stop making fun of me.
That's kind of hard, but I'll try.
Marcus and I became closer over the next few months. I always had fun with him, even when he talked about Iris 90% of the time. One time he took me to his place, and I was shocked to see how many posters he had of me.
Just look at her. How can someone be that perfect? It's just unfair to every other girl. No one could ever measure up to her.
Wow, he was beginning to sound as loco as Rocco. But at least there was no danger he'd ever be obsessed with Siri. One weekend we went to the park, and he taught me some skateboarding tricks. As a model, I was always careful never to do anything that might get me injured, but this was really fun. In the very next second, the skateboard slipped from under my feet and I went flying backwards. But before my head could hit the ground, Marcus caught me.
Whoa, easy there. You okay?
His face was so close to mine as he looked down in concern, and I noticed for the first time how lovely his eyes were.
Hello? You're kinda heavy, girl. Can you please try to stand up now?
I immediately jumped to my feet. Heavy? I was model thin. Jerk. We skateboarded a bit more and then fell onto the grass to rest. Can I ask you a question, Marcus?
You already asked, dummy.
Why do you love Iris? I mean, how do you love a person when you haven't even met her? Is it just because she's pretty?
3 years back, my sister got sick, and in the hospital, this beautiful girl paid a visit to the kids there and gave them some gifts. I'll never forget how sweet and kind she was to my sister. I didn't know then that she was actually a supermodel. And since then, I started admiring her from afar. I told you, she's perfect.
Oh, so he actually liked me for that and not just because I was pretty. And I felt like I wanted to tell him the truth about me, but I couldn't. Not yet. A few days later, some girls were drooling over a guy in the hallway, and I almost choked on my saliva when I realized who it was. Rocco. Oh my God, what was he doing here?
I need to find Iris. My heart told me she was here. I could literally smell her.
As I ran to the restroom, my wig got caught on something and it almost fell off. I quickly ran to the restroom and fixed it before anyone noticed. Phew. And then I called my dad to tell him about this. He suggested transferring to another school, but something was stopping me. I'd just settled in, and well, there was Marcus. But thank God Rocco was gone when I got out. A few days later, our drama club teacher decided to pair me with Marcus, and there was a scene where we had to kiss and we needed to practice it in front of everyone.
Yuck. No way I'm kissing her.
He then pretended to throw up. What's wrong with kissing me? It's not a big deal.
I just don't want my lips to be tainted by yours.
Excuse me? My lips are not poisonous or gross. The audience started chanting for us to kiss already, but he kept making lame excuses to delay it. Oh, the irony. He was obsessed with Iris, but allergic to Siri. And it was so confusing. Our teacher lost her patience, so we had no choice but to do it. I closed my eyes, and as his lips touched mine, I felt a storm of butterflies in my stomach. He immediately pulled away and yelled,
"This is officially the worst day of my life."
He was pissing me off. I just stormed off after drama class and ignored him all day. Later, when I was walking back home, he caught up with me.
Hey, are you in a bad mood or something? You left without waiting for me.
So? I can do whatever I want. You can't find your way home without me?
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. Can't a girl walk in peace?
Oh, come on. Is it about the kiss? I'm sorry if I overreacted.
It's not about that. But kissing me is not yuck, okay? There are tons of boys who'd love to kiss me.
Oh yeah? Who'd want to kiss a weirdo like you?
Oh, you have no idea, dude.
So what? Did you actually want me to enjoy it?
No, I didn't want you to, but yeah, you should have. I've been told I'm a really good kisser.
Okay, let me try it again then.
I was caught off guard when he suddenly pulled me into a very hot kiss. I was catching my breath as he finally let go of me. That was, wow.
I didn't want to kiss you before because I wanted our first kiss to be special.
He then turned around and left, leaving me completely stunned. I wasn't able to sleep that night because I couldn't stop thinking about our mind-blowing kiss. He liked me. The next day, he wasn't talking to me all day, and it was pure torture. Should I tell him the truth and admit my feelings for him now? I had to. Tonight. Unfortunately, Peyton got bored and threw a huge party. I learned that Marcus was going, so I did too, only to regret it instantly. Because just 10 minutes into the party, Peyton suddenly gathered everyone's attention. I prepared a little show for you guys. Are you ready to see it? She started showing pictures of me as Iris. Oh, so she was doing her smear campaigns during parties now? Did you guys know that this famous model, suddenly she splashed water on my face and took my wig off, has been here with us the whole time? Yes, I discovered your little secret in the bathroom one day. So you got bored of your perfect life and decided to fool us all? Oh my God! I met Marcus's eyes across the room and he looked super shocked. No, this couldn't be happening. Just then, the crowd went wild, and before they could jump on me, I ran out of her mansion and called Dad to take me home. The news instantly reached mainstream media, so I was forced to quit school and filed a restraining order against Rocco before he could come looking for me again. I'd been trying to contact Marcus to explain everything, but he never returned my calls, and it was killing me. One day, my parents went on a business trip, and I was left alone in our mansion. Just then, I heard someone yelling downstairs. I walked to the balcony and saw Marcus being held down by my bodyguards.
Siri, Iris, whatever your name is, I just want to talk to you, please.
Let go of him, boys. My heart was pounding hard as I met with him downstairs. Marcus, what are you doing here? He just threw a magazine in front of me and said,
I want an autograph.
"Huh? Did he come here as a fan or what?" I picked it up, and while I was signing it, he suddenly grabbed my hand and pulled me into a hug.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too, and I'm sorry for lying to you. I was supposed to tell you that day.
There's no need to explain. You had your reasons. I understand.
Then what took you so long to see me?
I needed more time to think. I was so confused. I have always idolized Iris and always thought that she was the love of my life. But then you came as Siri and everything changed. I couldn't stop thinking about you since the first time I saw you.
Really? For me, it was much later.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Be the supermodel or the annoying weirdo, I don't care. As long as it's you. I love you.
I love you too.
Now, what should I call you?
I haven't thought about that yet. As of now, just call me yours. Hi, my name is Aura and I'm from Texas. Please like and subscribe. I live with my granny and she's pretty much the only person I'm close with on this planet. After my mom and dad passed away, she took me in and raised me. But growing up, I didn't have many friends. I was always focused on my studies. And that's how I was able to bag a scholarship to one of the finest schools in the city. But things took a wild turn in the 10th grade. It all started when I decided to ride my bicycle to school one day. But just as I was about to park it, I tripped over something, and my bicycle went crashing into a car nearby. Shoot! The car looked really expensive, and now it had a dent the size of an elephant. I was the queen of broke people. I'd never be able to pay for the damage. I had to get out of here. But just then, two evil-looking shadows showed up behind me, and one of them caught me.
Look at that. She ruined your car and now she's running from the crime scene.
Holy Jesus, not the terrible two! Jacob and Adam were the two richest and hottest kids in school, but everyone was scared of them because they were really big bullies. And now I rammed their car. This was the worst day ever. I wasn't running, and I didn't ruin it on purpose. I just accidentally...
Oh, Kitty. Accidentally or not, you're gonna have to pay for this.
Listen, man, I can't pay for it. You want my bicycle? You can have that.
You're making jokes now? You better arrange the money or else.
Oh, God, what was I gonna do about these bullies? And just then I remembered. I'd seen them bullying a kid really badly after school recently. So I just blurted out, I know your secret, and I'm gonna tell it to the principal.
What secret?
I know what you guys did last Monday. For a second, they looked stunned, but then Jacob screamed,
What? How? How do you know that?
Judging from their freaked out faces, I could tell it was something else, and something really big that they'd done, and they thought I knew? This was perfect. Well, I'm not gonna tell you here. I'll tell you in front of the principal. Let's go now.
No. Wait. We can talk this out. Yeah, and you don't need to pay for anything. Here, let me check if your bike's broken. I'll buy you a new one, as many as you want. We'll do anything you say. We'll be your errand boys, but please, just don't tell anyone.
What in the father freaking world? The two most powerful senior guys in school were totally at my mercy, and I didn't even know why. But I pretended to keep it cool because I didn't want them to know I was bluffing. Sure, then how about you start with carrying my bag? It's so heavy, my hand hurts. As I went around school that day with these two acting like my personal bodyguards, kids were looking at me like I was a magician who had the terrible two wrapped around my finger. The next day, as I stepped out of my house, Jacob was already waiting for me in his brand new car. This was just getting better.
Hey, I'm here to pick you up. So tell me, do you want to go to the beach today or the movies?
What? No. I want to go to school and attend my classes. I have to submit my assignments next week.
Aw, come on, Aura. You should enjoy yourself and not study so hard. Adam can do your assignments. He does mine all the time. No big deal.
That sounded good, but I wasn't sure if I trusted them enough to hang out with them outside school. What if they planned to kidnap me because of whatever their stupid secret was? So I insisted on going to school. When we reached there, they kept following me around. At first, it felt like I was some princess, but as the day went by, I realized this was a big problem. I had ballet practice after lunch, and just as I entered the girls' changing room, all the girls started screaming. When I turned around, I was stunned to see those two morons had followed me in. Have you both lost it? This is the girls' changing room.
All the more reason for us to be here, right, Adam?
I pushed them out and locked the door from inside. But when I went to the dancing room, they were already there, dressed in ballerina's clothes and dancing like toads. What the freaking crabs? What are you guys doing? You don't have to follow me everywhere.
Yes, we do. We can't risk it. What if you go and tell the principal behind our backs?
I won't do that.
Well, guess what? We don't trust you.
They just wouldn't leave. And when it was my time to perform, they both started cheering and hooting like they were my craziest fans. What could be the big secret that was making them do all these things to keep me from going to the principal? But as much as I wanted to know, I wanted to get rid of them too. The next day, I left home before they could get here. And even at school, I was on my toes watching out for them. Then during lunchtime, this football jock at school, who I had a huge crush on, came and sat next to me.
You're the popular girl who tamed those rich brats, and I'm impressed. I like strong and dominating girls like you. How about we go out?
Adam picked him up by the collar and threw him out of the seat.
How about I give you a taste of strong and dominating guys?
Adam, stop! What are you doing? As soon as Adam let him go, he just ran away. Ugh, why did you do that? He was gonna ask me out.
He asks everyone out. He's a jerk.
Oh, have you looked in the mirror lately? You're the bigger jerk here. With that, I pushed him aside and stormed out of there angrily. Later that day, I was in the library when I saw that football jock kissing some girl behind a bookshelf. Adam was right. He really was a jerk. I picked up a book and tossed it right at his head. Ouch! Well, he deserved it. After that, I went back to solving my math assignment, but I was getting none of the answers correct.
Easy there, Tigress. Let me help you with those.
Help me? Do you even know the— Whoa! How did you do that? I was stunned that this guy who looked like he probably bought his grades with his dad's money was actually good at studying. He helped me with my assignments, and honestly, I was starting to feel that he wasn't so bad after all. Just as I was about to apologize for calling him a jerk earlier, Jacob barged into the library.
Thanks for keeping an eye on her while I was away.
Of course, Adam was just here to babysit me. I felt so dumb thinking he might be nice 2 seconds ago.
So, who's ready to go and watch the new Spider-Man movie?
OMG! I'd been waiting for this movie for months! I screamed so loud with excitement that the librarian kicked us all out. Later that evening, when we stepped out of the movies, it was pretty chilly. Suddenly, Adam took off his jacket and wrapped it around me. Such a good actor he was. I knew if it wasn't for their secret, he wouldn't care even if I was screaming for help. Soon after, he ran ahead to get the car, and that's when Jacob took my hand and suddenly pulled me close. Whoa! What are you doing?
Aw, come on. I can clearly see you're interested in me. That's why you're playing the blackmail game, to keep me close.
What? In your dreams?
That attitude of yours, it's just got me going crazy for you, babe. How about you give me a kiss now?
This jerk! I was about to push him really hard when suddenly Adam pulled him away and punched him hard in the face. Jacob landed on his butt.
How dare you touch her? What the heck, dude? Did you forget who you are? You're a stinky, low-life rat who lives off my leftovers. And how dare you touch me?
Low-life rat? What was he talking about?
I know who I am, but don't you dare touch her again. Because if you do, I'll shove those leftovers down your throat.
Whoa! It seemed like Adam was a whole different person. He took my hand and then we both left from there. All the way back home, he didn't say a word, and I could feel there was something about him that I didn't know. I was getting more and more curious. When we reached home, I handed him his jacket back, and I just couldn't stop myself. Adam, why did Jacob say all those things about you? I mean, you're rich too.
No, I'm not, Aura. I know it looks like that because I'm always hanging out with Jacob, but I'm a poor nobody.
I don't really understand.
My dad used to work for Jacob's dad, but he passed away a few years back, and I have a sick mom to take care of. Jacob convinced his dad to take us in, and he helps me with money. But basically, since then, I have to do everything he asks me to do.
Oh boy. My heart sank listening to that, and suddenly I just hugged him tight. Thanks for doing what you did for me today, Adam. And I'm sorry. Don't be. He totally deserves it, but I really wish you'd never seen us do it. And then you wouldn't be involved with jerks like us. Seen what? Suddenly, he looked at me with surprise. The secret. He was talking about the big secret. Oh, yeah, totally saw that. Wait a second. You don't know what it is, do you? Now that I think about it, you never really mentioned it because you don't know what it is. I panicked, and then you guys assumed I knew your secret. Aura, how can you even do something like this, knowing how bad Jacob is? If he knows you don't know, he'll... Oh, God, I can't believe this. He stormed off angrily, and now my heart was pumping like crazy for what was going to happen next. The next day, when I reached school, I saw Adam was still hanging out with Jacob, but his face was full of bruises, like someone had hit him really bad. Of course, it was Jacob. Later, when Adam was all alone in the boys' washroom, I went in. Why are you letting him treat you this way? I know it's Jacob who beat you up. What are you doing here? And I told you, I owe him. Just stay out of it. I don't want you getting hurt. But you're willing to get hurt all alone? This is wrong, Adam. You can't let him ruin your life like this. What he's doing to you and the other kids around school, this has to stop. Yes, but there's nothing I can do. You can. You've always been with him. You know everything he does. You can go and tell the principal all about it. But I was there with him in everything he did. I helped him. If I rat him out, I'll be out of school and I'll be on the streets with my mom. Just then, Jacob came out of nowhere and pinned me against the wall. So, you're planning to ruin me, huh? You have no idea who you're messing with, little birdie. And you have no idea who you're messing with, you ugly crow. I smashed my head hard into his face and he fell to the floor crying in pain. Adam grabbed my hand and we ran out of there. I'm going to the principal. You're right. I can't be a coward and let him hurt everyone like this, especially you, Aura. I'll deal with the outcomes later. I'll be right there with you. We went into the principal's office and Adam confessed everything, from Jacob's bullying incidents to the biggest secret of all. After the principal had told Jacob he was going to fail in most of his subjects, Jacob trashed the principal's brand new car one evening. He smashed the windows and the lights and spray painted all over it with Adam's help. The principal immediately called Jacob in and said he was going to be expelled. Since Adam had confessed everything, he was going to be suspended for a while and made to do volunteer work. And suddenly, Jacob went bonkers on Adam. You filthy moron. I fed you and you backstabbed me. You're done too, Adam. Even if you aren't expelled, you can't stay in this school without me paying your fee. And your mom? Who's gonna pay for her treatments now? It would have been better if you had kept following my orders like a loyal puppy. And now, you're doomed. And that's when Jacob's dad walked in, looking horrified. That's enough. I had no idea I was raising such a brat. How dare you exploit this poor kid? Adam, don't you worry, son. I'm here for you. Dad, I'm so sorry. Not a word. Your principal told me everything on the phone, and the rest I've heard myself. I'm sending you to an army school right away. Jacob kept begging his dad, but it didn't seem like it was going to work in his favor. When Adam and I walked out of the room, I turned to him and said, "How do you feel?" "Never been better. Thanks to you, Aura, I was able to be brave. I'm just so happy things will be better for you. So now that there's no secret, are you still gonna be nice to me?" "Yeah, I'll carry your bag every day." And then he pulled me in for a kiss.
Hi, my name is Sasha, and I'm a popular singer with the wealthiest parents in town. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. Selling out concerts weekly and dealing with fans around the world might sound fun, but you know what's even cooler? Partying. All night long. In the middle of my show, I escaped with my boyfriend Theo to go to the biggest island party ever. But when he pulled over to a helicopter pad, my excitement turned to panic. I thought we were going to use a yacht. You know I have a phobia of heights, right? It's a 5-minute ride. You're just being melodramatic. Get over it. Get over it? Enjoy the party without this drama queen then. Babe, come on. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
I just ignored him and stormed off. As I walked back to the city, I noticed a person in a hooded jacket following me. I grabbed my stiletto and yelled at him. "Why are you hiding, dude? Are you scared? Don't worry. I don't bite." To my surprise, he just threw a magazine at me and ran away. What the chocolate fudge? I picked it up and realized that it was my magazine, with a death threat drawn all over my face. Unfortunately for him, I was fearless. The threats kept coming over the weekend. My parents had always wanted to hire a bodyguard for me, but I didn't want some boring old guy to keep following me around. But this time, they wouldn't take no for an answer. When I finally saw my bodyguard, I almost passed out. He was the most exquisite specimen of a man I had ever seen, and he looked just a few years older than me. "Hey, handsome. Are you sure you're a bodyguard and not my next boyfriend?" To my surprise, he didn't smile a bit. "Rude. You look too young for this job. How can I trust you?" Suddenly, a ball from our neighbor came hurling right at me, and he instantly caught it with one hand.
Trust me, I'm really good at my job. You can check my records. Your father has everything you need.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's go. He opened the car door for me, and as I slipped in, I accidentally brushed my shoulder on his chest, and oh my, it felt harder than a rock. When we arrived at school, Theo didn't look so happy to see me with my young bodyguard. He pulled me aside and said,
Look, babe, I know I insulted you the other night, but getting back at me by flirting with another guy, how could you?
"He's my freaking bodyguard. I'm still mad at you for what you did, and now you're accusing me of cheating?" Suddenly, Damon stepped in.
Is there a problem here?
"Stay out of this, man." Theo tried to push him aside, but Damon pounced on him and pinned him to the ground.
What the heck are you doing? Let go of me, idiot.
"Hey, stop it!" Damon finally released my boyfriend after a minute. As expected, Theo went psycho. I immediately blocked him before he got his butt kicked by Damon. "That's enough, Theo. He's just doing his job."
Why do you need a bodyguard when you have me? I'm your boyfriend. I'll protect you.
A small spider suddenly landed on his shoulder, and he ran screaming. Protect my butt. As I walked down the hall with Damon, girls were literally drooling all over him. "He looks more like a model than a bodyguard. He can be the father of my children. He's way more attractive than Theo. I really want to feel his biceps." These girls sounded so desperate, but they were right. When I reached our classroom, my best friend Tessa came up to me with my favorite coffee. "Hey girl, so I brought you your..." Damon suddenly snatched it and started sniffing it. He then took a sip and waited for a few seconds before saying,
"Clear."
As he gave it back to me, Tessa was glaring at him. "Excuse me, did you really think that I'll poison my best friend?"
Just doing my job.
Tessa then dragged me to a corner. "So you're giving up your privacy just like that? I can see that he's very attractive, but something about him screams bad news. He even sounds like a demon. You have to get rid of him ASAP." "Oh, come on, girl. It's just his first day. Let's see." But Tessa was right. I didn't have a second of privacy. Damon followed me around every freaking second. He stood behind me in all of my classes and even in restrooms. It was so awkward. At home, he'd just stand outside my door, and I never saw him sleep. And worse, he had this permanent ice-cold expression on his face that gave me chills. I had a recording event one night, and when I reached the studio, a guy came rushing toward me. He was about to draw out something from his back pocket when suddenly, Damon grabbed his arm and twisted it.
Drop your weapon.
What?
I just wanted an autograph from her, man.
Damon let go of the poor guy, and it was so embarrassing. What's the matter with you? I'm a popular singer, so you have to get used to my fans.
Just doing my job.
Calm down, Sasha. Calm down. The next day at school, Theo kept following me around to apologize, but I still ignored him until he said,
"My producer cousin is throwing an exclusive yacht party with some A-listers this weekend. She's a fan of yours, and she'd be ecstatic if you came."
He had my attention now. Parties were my weakness.
Not so fast, sweetheart. Hang out with me tomorrow?
Okay, fine. Theo requested not to bring Damon to our date tomorrow, so I talked to him in private.
My job is not to leave your side for a minute. So sorry, can't do.
He was so firm about this, so I finally gave up and let him come with us. We went to a private movie theater and watched a super sad movie together. Minutes into the movie, Theo and I were already crying our hearts out, while Damon had no reaction at all. What was he, a robot? After the movie, we went to a fancy restaurant and I was having a good time with the lobster until Theo started forcing himself on me.
Just one kiss, babe. Come on.
Not now, Theo. We're in a public place and people are staring. But he was persistent. Just then, Damon grabbed him and threw him away like a piece of paper. Theo was furious. He grabbed a chair, but before he could hit Damon with it, I pushed him away. Stop it! Right now!
Your stupid bodyguard started it. Why don't you tell him to get a life and go home to his mommy?
No, Theo. You go home. I immediately called him a cab, and when he was finally gone, I turned to Damon angrily. I know he was being a jerk, but I can handle my personal life. You don't have to interfere every freaking second.
He was disrespecting your personal space.
Your job is to keep me safe, not to meddle in my personal matters. Know your boundaries.
Apologies. It will never happen again.
I actually didn't mind that Theo got the thrashing he deserved, but Damon always being around was just getting on my nerves. A few days later at a concert, I was performing my newest single and everyone was singing along with me. It felt amazing. Some of them even started climbing up on the stage to join me. Suddenly, Damon jumped in and pushed them off stage. What in the world? He then lifted me and carried me to the backstage in the middle of my freaking performance. I finally had enough. My parents are paying you to protect me, not to annoy me and screw up my concerts.
Your life is in danger, ma'am. You have to treat everyone as an enemy.
That is ridiculous. Whoever sends those stupid threats is probably just some harmless loser.
Better to be safe than sorry.
I complained to my parents about his behavior, but they praised him for it. But he's ruining my career and even my personal life.
He's just doing his job, honey, and that's to make sure you're safe all the time.
They were hopeless cases, so I resorted to Tessa instead, and she came up with a plan.
Test his patience. Annoy him. Do everything you can to make him quit. You're good at that, you gorgeous brat.
I love the sound of it, girl. You're the best.
Of course I am.
I stayed up at 4 a.m. that night to disturb Damon in his sleep, but to my surprise, he was already up. I need you to get my favorite Starbucks coffee.
That's not part of my job description.
Do it, or I'll make your job harder.
Fine. What's your order?
1 iced venti caramel macchiato with 6 shots of mocha, 1/4 non-fat milk, 1/8 almond milk with medium whipped cream, and a caramel drizzle with a rose design on top, in a biodegradable takeaway cup with a pink straw.
Got it.
What? I was just messing with him, but to my surprise, he immediately left. And holy mother of toads, he came back with my exact order. How?
Anything else?
That's all for now. Later that day, I went to the mall and went on a crazy shopping spree, making him carry all my bags to tire him out. But he was like a machine. I entered a clothing store, and as I tried on all the prettiest clothes, I kept asking for his opinion, but he wasn't paying attention. Hello? Aren't you gonna give me a compliment or something?
Giving an opinion about your outfits is not part of my job, ma'am.
Any normal guy would have been drooling at me by now. He must be a cyborg. To get back at him, I faked a sprain and forced him to carry me on his back, but he was still as strong as a freaking tank. Finally giving up, I went to the bathroom with everything I'd bought and escaped through the window. After making sure that I'd lost him, I went to an orphanage and gave out all the clothes to the kids. While I was having fun with them, Tessa sent me some pictures of Theo kissing a blonde girl in a restaurant. At this point, I didn't even care. Theo was trash. I immediately sent him a message and told him that we were done. He was the worst boyfriend anyway. He started calling me immediately, so I just blocked him. Problem solved. Later, I went to a local club to celebrate my breakup, and while I was dancing my heart out, I was shocked to see someone watching me from the bar. Damon! Of course he tracked me down. A cute guy tried to dance with me, and suddenly, Damon came and pushed him away. Hey, listen, buddy, I'm sick of this. If you're gonna keep scaring all the other guys away, you dance with me.
I don't mix business with pleasure.
Dance with me, or go sit quietly in a corner while I find someone. Before I could poke the guy next to me, Damon suddenly grabbed my hand to dance. Just then, the song shifted to a slow, romantic one, and he pulled me in closer by the waist. It's not so bad, is it?
If you say so, ma'am.
You can say my name, you know.
If you say so, Sasha.
He had the faintest smile on his face, and my heart skipped a beat. We slow danced as he looked deep into my eyes, and suddenly, his face was so close to mine. Just then, he pulled away from me, like he'd had an electric shock.
We need to go home.
But it's still early.
Safety reasons.
Ugh, he was so annoying. When we got home, I saw a box sitting on my bed, and when I opened it, lots of rats jumped out and started running all over the room. Damon saw a little note inside, and for the first time ever, it scared me. For real.
Someone broke into your room. This person means business. We have to be more careful, ma'am.
He suggested that I shouldn't go to school for the next few days for safety, and I agreed. One night, my manager called and reminded me of my concert in Paris the next day. It was my biggest one yet, and I had to go.
I don't think you should be making public appearances till we find out who's trying to hurt you.
No, I'm not gonna let some creep scare me and make me decide what I should do. This was planned in advance, and all the tickets are sold, and I'm not canceling. Damon was forced to allow me, but on one condition. We had to share a hotel room so he could keep a constant eye on me. When we were finally in Paris, I rehearsed my songs all night while he was constantly looking out the window. The next morning, I found him still asleep on the couch when something on the floor caught my attention. A picture of a beautiful girl in his wallet. She looked around my age. I quickly put the wallet away, feeling something weird. Was I jealous? No, of course not. Why would I care if he had a girlfriend? Hours before the concert, while my makeup team was working on me, Damon suddenly snatched me away.
Can't you just postpone this? It's too dangerous.
I told you, I can't.
Please, Sasha, just listen to me. I care about you, you know?
Oh, do you? I thought I was your only client. Just do your job, which is to keep me alive, and let me do my job, which is to entertain people. And actually, I prefer it when you call me ma'am. You got me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
During my concert, I tried not to think of Damon and the death threats, and it was going so well. In the middle of my performance, I saw Damon in the crowd, and he was smiling at me. He looked so lovely. No, snap out of it, Sasha. He has a girlfriend. While I was singing my fourth song, I suddenly spotted a hooded figure in the crowd, and he was aiming something at me. No, no, no. I froze in panic, but just then a strong pair of arms grabbed me and carried me off the stage, and I looked up to see Damon's tense face.
Stay here. Don't move.
He returned a few minutes later, saying he'd lost the hooded figure. I was still shaking in fear, and he gently picked me up and we returned to the hotel. He tucked me into bed and sat on a chair close by. I closed my eyes and tried to sleep, feeling safe as he watched over me. Sometime later, I felt him fixing my blanket and gently caressing my cheek as he left. Why did he do that? And why was it giving me a heart attack? When I woke up the next morning, I peeked into the kitchen and smiled when I saw him dancing while cooking our breakfast. It was the first time I saw him looking so human. I felt shy when he turned to me. I didn't have any makeup on.
That's the first time I've seen you without makeup, and you look even more beautiful than usual.
Is complimenting me part of your job now?
Maybe.
I knew it. No one can ever resist my charms, not even my emotionless bodyguard. I wonder what your girlfriend would say about this.
I assume you're talking about the picture of the girl in my wallet.
Gosh, was he actually awake that time? He revealed that it was his sister, and they grew up in the orphanage together. He lost her because he'd failed to protect her, and that's why he became a bodyguard.
She'd always wanted to go to Paris and go up the Eiffel Tower.
I suddenly felt brave. Let's go there then, for her.
After what happened yesterday, there's no way I'm allowing you to go anywhere. Also, I know from your file that you're afraid of heights.
I'm not scared when I have you around. I'll be fine, I promise. He finally agreed, but later as we were climbing onto the escalator at the Eiffel Tower, he must have noticed I was nervous.
Are you sure about this? We can just go back, you know.
No, I can do this. When we reached the top, I squealed and covered my eyes.
You made it to the top. You have to see this view now.
I don't know if I can. How about you take a look, and we'll go down?
But I don't want you to miss this, Sasha. I've got you. Do you trust me?
Yes I do.
Okay then, open your eyes when I say so.
I kept my eyes shut as he led me forward, and then suddenly, I felt his arms wrap around my waist.
Now.
I opened my eyes, and I gasped. I was so close to the edge, and the whole glittering city was in front of me, and I'd never felt safer in my life. Damon?
Yes?
Have you ever fallen for a client? My smile instantly faded at his answer.
No, it would never happen. I can't do my job well if I'm emotionally involved.
So, it was just me who was feeling this. He was just being nice to his client. After a week, I had to go back to school for the final exams. I looked for Tessa so we could study together in the library, but I couldn't find her. I sat down to study alone and let Damon stand by the door so I could focus. Minutes later, he barged in and yelled,
Sasha, look out.
To my horror, the huge bookshelf behind me began to fall on me, but Damon leapt forward and pushed me out of harm's way, and it fell on him. He was in the hospital for a week, and despite my parents' protests that I needed to stay safe at home, I insisted on visiting him every day. One day, while I was in the waiting area, Tessa came to see me with my favorite coffee, but before I could take a sip, a hand suddenly slapped the cup away. We turned to see Damon and a cop beside him, who suddenly put handcuffs on Tessa.
What are you doing, you moron?
Damon, what's happening? Suddenly, he revealed something that blew my mind. Tessa was the one who'd pushed the bookshelf on me.
I'd been keeping an eye on her and studying her. That day, I saw her enter the library from the back door, and I knew she was up to no good. I'm sure your coffee is poisoned too.
My best friend was trying to hurt me? Tessa, why? And suddenly, Tessa turned into a monster.
Because I hate you. You have everything I've ever wanted. Beauty, talent, fame, wealth. Theo, life is so unfair. I would have gotten rid of you already if your stupid bodyguard wasn't such a pain.
She screamed as the cop dragged her away, and I was left speechless. Damon then pulled me into a hug.
Are you okay?
I'll be fine. How are you?
I'm okay, but I can't be your bodyguard anymore, Sasha. I just can't fight my feelings for you anymore, and it's wrong.
If I fire you right now, will you be my boyfriend instead? Without a word, he grabbed my face and finally kissed me on the lips. I took that as a yes.